My brother is a proper mechanical engineer. He retired out of the Air Force as a lieutenant colonel, and he's very good at what he does. And part of that is making plans, understanding how things fit. And I'm not that way. So I think a lot of what I do kind of gnaws at him. I don't have a plan so much as I have a vision in my head, an objective, a finished product. So the plan is fluid. If there's any plan at all, it's to join this thing and that thing and make one thing. How I get there is what I have at hand, and just making do, make something happen. So anyways, I'm going to proceed with it. This subframe fits inside of the main frame. The main frame is 6 inches, so I'll use this, and I'll stuff that, press fit it into the tapered down parts of the truck frame. How much of that truck frame do I want to use? I've done some measuring on the cab outside. And here's a picture of the fire truck cab. Now, the middle of that wheel arch to the back of the cab was 31.5 inches. 31.5 puts me about this bolt. You can't see it here, but there's 2, 4, 6 bolts that hold the subframe into this frame. At the end of the day, I'm going to cut this frame here, and I'll utilize this little bit and the subframe, and I'll put it into that truck frame, and it'll be bolted in there, and that'll be all I need to do. The other thing, though, is the anchor for the torsion bar suspension. I don't know if it's in the shot here. Yeah, it is. 3 bolts on each side. And that's all that's holding that there. There's no bolts underneath. So what I'm going to do on the truck frame is I'll have the neck down part. I'll cut off basically 11, I'll cut it back to 11 inches, maybe 12, just to give a little bit of room here so that this part of the frame here is pressed into as much as it can onto the inside of that truck frame. I should be able to just scoot it out, don't have to undo anything. I'll see how that works. I shouldn't have to undo anything with the torsion bar suspension. All I have to disturb here is get the exhaust out of the way. And just put jacks under here. Yeah, I guess my intention then is to put this subframe in and set the spacing widthwise for the frame rails on the truck. Well, this is where it starts tapering. And I've marked that on both sides. So that forward is the taper. I want to go back from that at least 11 inches. And that is the bolt. That's where the other frame is going to bolt in onto the inside here. I'm going to give myself a little extra room, maybe do 12 inches, a foot. And that's fine, except this cross member here is in the way, so I have to remove that in order to clean it up inside. And everything's got to slip down inside of here, so I'll have to clean up these welds. It's welded in there pretty securely, so it's going to be a bit of a process to cut that out. Here we go. Okay, you can see the problem here. That's welded all the way up through there. It's welded on the end, and it's welded along that back edge. It's welded down the side. So it takes some fiddly grinding to get this out of here, both of these. Now I grind. I'm getting those brackets off, but they're a real pain. There's probably a better way to do it. I don't know what that is. Anyways, I'm making progress. Whatever's on the bottom flange of this channel iron is off, but I'm going to flip the frame around now using the gantry crane so I can get to what's up underneath the top of these flanges. I've made my first cut here. So this end of the frame is cut. There's a cut of it there. The other one's cut. I'm about to cut the one on the other end now. Where do I cut though? It's like, you know, I kept cutting it off and it's still too short. No, I don't want to do that. I want it to have too long and then maybe make it shorter. I've been trying to get my figures as best I can, try to figure out how long do I want this truck to be. And I can't control the length of the cab or how far it sticks out the front. But what I can do is, I don't want a bed that's 14 feet long, and I don't want a bed that 8 feet is going to be too short. So somewhere in the middle is how long the bed will be. The bed will pretty much start at the back of the cab. And the back of the cab is roughly the back of the front wheel, front tire. So it gives me some starting point. You can't probably see it on the camera, but right here, that's where they bolt together, right here. 12 bolts, and it ends right there. With this tire, it's about a foot. From the back of that tire to the front of this frame is a foot. Well, the tire is going to be 8 inches bigger diameter. And so 4 inches back in the radius, 4 inches back from this tire. It's a foot, now it'll be 9 inches. Well, how far do I want the tires to be apart? I can't have them too close. Those tires, these bogies, are 69 inches from the back of that tire to the front of this tire, 69 inches. That's 5 3/4 feet. Okay, so how far do I want the front of this tire to be from the back of that tire? Well, this is too far. And what I've ended up looking at here is, I've made some marks that you can't see. If I leave 16 inches on the back of that tire, that'll be the back of the frame from the back of that tire, to right about here, that's where the back of the tire is going to be. I'm cutting out about 5 feet. 129 inches is what I'm going to cut out of that frame. That's roughly 10 3/4 feet. And that'll leave it a little bit long. I can adjust it later. It might not be, essentially I can move these bogies anywhere and just get it to look good. Yeah, let's see how that works. I'm going to cut the frame now. Well, that came off just fine. Almost off balance there. That was a big step for me. I hope I've allowed for everything and these are the right length. I've got to get the cut-off piece of frame out of here, or at least somewhere else, because it's in the way right now. But then I have to move over to the motorhome chassis, unbolt the front subframe, and get that rolled over here so I can bolt it onto the front parts of these here. Well, it looks like just a few lines are still holding this together. I've got brake line here. This looks like a fuel line. This is a fuel vent here. And then we have, looks like a charcoal canister, so that's something to do with fuel as well. And I think this brake line, there's a union here. I'll just bend that out of the way. I'm not going to reuse any of that anyway. I think I'll see what happens when I just undo these bolts that hold this bracket, this anchor onto the frame. If it doesn't twist and go all bananas, I might just leave it all in one piece. I really don't want to try to take the tension off of this if I don't have to. And really, the suspension should still work, even though it's not attached to the frame. That's the theory I'm going to go on anyways. Okay, so now what? I think I'll move the motor up and down. See if it moves at all here. Could try to pry on it, maybe. Let's try that. That's moving. Look at that. It's moving. Yep. No. Rock and roll. So I pumped up the rear suspension to jack up the back a bit, see if I could tilt it forward. Hey, that made an improvement. Right, how are we doing otherwise? It's out. That's it. Ha. It is balanced. You want to be on this side pushing a tire and I'll push on that side? On the tire, push on the tire. What is dragging? It'll stop when it hits the tractor. Let's stop right here. That's good. That should be enough room for me to move that over. You push on that tire. I'll push on this tire. We're going to go over that direction and spin it 180 so that that frame's pointing towards the wall. We're good. That'll do.